Hi, my name is Abigail Urich, and this is another discovery project for the History of Photography class where I went to the St. George Art Museum for their Day of the Dead exhibit. At the St. George Art Museum, I looked around and there were a lot of beautiful artwork for the Day of the Dead holiday, but one of the things that drew my eye was the photographs of loved ones who had passed on their ofrenda. As I did not grow up celebrating the Day of the Dead, I didn't know what the ofrenda was, and so I asked the staff and did some research on what it was and what it was for. So for the Day of the Dead, it's a Hispanic celebration. It occurs every year on November 1st and 2nd, and it's a holiday where families can celebrate life and remember their dead. There are many things that go into this holiday, and specifically, the ofrenda is an altar where images of loved ones are placed next to decorations, candles, cups of water, plates of food, and other objects that are used to help guide loved ones' spirits back from beyond to visit their loved ones during this special time. For this discovery project, I went to the St. George Art Museum and took pictures of their Day of the Dead exhibit and asked the staff and researched on my own about the photographs that are taken and used for this tradition. I was curious to know why photographs were important to the tradition, so I looked it up, and one of the things I learned was that photography was introduced to Mexico in the early 1800s, so right along when it was invented in the first place. With the emergence of the daguerreotypes came many opportunities for the people to make social and political change happen in their countries. But as this refers back to the Day of the Dead, because the tradition is older than photography was invented, I wanted to know what was put on the ofrenda altar before photography. So the purpose of the photograph and anything on the ofrenda is for it to guide and welcome spirits home. Each of the objects has its own special meaning. You can look into it yourself, but examples are that the food welcomes them because it's their favorite foods, or like the candles are lighting the way. There's many other sacred and traditional things that are used. Photographs are just another thing. So the reason that photos are believed to help is because it helps spirits to know that they are welcome. If they see an image of themselves, they know that that's where they're supposed to be at. It also helps family members remember their loved ones, and when the family members have the ofrenda in their homes or at a local community like the St. George Art Museum, it's not only a time of the year to remember them, but also a place in the home or the community to physically remember them and to see them when you walk by. So before photographs, drawings, paintings, and even mirrors were valid forms of showing spirits they were welcome. So if you don't have a photograph of someone, you can write their name, you can put a mirror, you can draw a picture of them, as well as all the other things that people put on the altars. Another thing that is hard about researching the Day of the Dead is that we don't know a lot about how it was celebrated many years and even centuries ago because of colonization, erasure, Catholicism. It got merged in with All Saints' Day. So even the people who have been celebrating it their whole lives are basing it off of tradition of their families and not so much knowing the exact origins or how it was celebrated maybe even 20, 30, 50 years ago, sadly. While I was at the museum, I asked the front desk some more questions. The staff member was a Hispanic woman and was able to answer a few of the things I had in mind with her own personal stories as well as just because she's done her own research. So my main curiosity was the quality of the photographs. What determined which photos were used for the ofrenda? She said that it depended on the family and what they had on hand. It didn't really matter what kind of photograph. If it was the most recent photo taken of the departed, the best quality, the most professional, or if the photograph was well produced or simply printed off the web. What mattered was how well the living felt the image represented the past loved ones. She even showed me. We went over to the ofrenda and she showed me some images of her own family that she put on the table, and that some of them were taken many years before they died. Some images were the last photo taken of them, others were professional headshots from work or school, and some were just taken on the phone. She showed me that her grandmother had just sent her pictures through Facebook Messenger chat and that they just printed them out. The importance of the departed person was a lot greater than any of the methods to preserve their memory. The actual quality of the photograph isn't as important as that a photograph is being used. This is a close-up of some of the photographs and some of the decorations on the table, like the other pictures in this slide. This one even shows that it's the the rear view of someone riding away on their horse, even though we can't see that it's what person it is. This picture was important to the person who donated it for the altar and thought that it best exemplified who they were to them, and I'm sure it was welcoming for the departed as well. Now, despite knowing that in the past, drawings, paintings, mirrors were all acceptable forms of bringing in the loved ones from beyond, since the introduction of photography, the importance of the representative photographic images of the departed has increased a lot more. Now, photography and images of the loved ones is now the most crucial part of the holiday's altar and is a welcome tradition for all people of all backgrounds. The St. George Art Museum welcomes all to join in every year and bring photographs of their loved ones to add to the community of Ofrenda. It's a place to revisit our shared human experience of loss and to remember our loved ones. Through this discovery project, I have really learned the intrinsic importance of domestic documentary photography. Another key thing to add is that a part of the Ofrenda at the St. George Art Museum is the Wall of Remembrance, where if you don't have photographs of your loved ones or if you don't have them with you, you can write on the wall and write their name. You can write a little message to them, their birth and death day, or simply just a picture of what you feel like represents them.